Hailed a hero, and he's joining us this morning on TVL. Zach Rogers is a professional truck driver from Florence. And after you hear what recently happened on a highway in Mississippi, you'll understand why he is here. Zach, my friend, thank you so much for joining us. It is an honor to host you on the show. First, I want to talk a little bit more maybe just about your profession in general. I think there are a lot of people. There are some who are like, I could never do that job. I couldn't stay awake and do that job well. Then there's some people who just love a life on the road. What does kind of a typical shift look like for you on the day-to-day?
Well, it's somewhat mundane. You're out there by yourself. You're driving. It's just you. I've got a dog to keep me companion.
Good.
So she's a lot of help. But you're just out there doing your thing. You don't really have anybody looking over you or, standing over you. It's your responsibility, and you just kind of do your own thing. It's kind of nice. I enjoy it.
Yeah, well, a lot of responsibility, as you mentioned, still comes with that, and you do it so well. Let's talk more specifically again. August 21st. It was a crazy day, I can only imagine. Tell me what all you witnessed on that highway in Mississippi.
Well, the lady and I were both headed east on 72, right past Slayden. And as I came up on her, I went to go around her. And right as I went to go around her, she started drifting over into my lane. And at first, I thought it was somebody on their cell phone, but she was not on their cell phone. It was a medical emergency, it turned out to be. But she just kind of drifted on across in front of me, hit the median, spun around, ended in the ditch on the other side. And I stopped, I got out, I went over there, all her airbags had deployed, I cut the airbags. She was a little bit out of it at first, but she was somewhat responsive. And then as it went by, she kind of got worse and went out. So we called 911. And honestly, the only thing that I could do was pray. So we held her and prayed, and paramedics got there. They're the ones who deserve the title and the award. They really took over, and they do put their lives on the line every day. But once they showed up and took over, it was a relief because I could finally just sit back and relax. But it was kind of crazy there for a while, the minutes waiting up to it. So.
Yeah, well, again, we know a huge shout out to you, Zach. I mean, you're sweet and humble to say as much, but you're quick thinking. I'm curious too. You mentioned kind of an even sweeter part of the anecdote that when you were looking at her, you assumed she was somebody's grandmother, almost felt like your own grandmother. Kind of walk me through just what was going through your mind. I mean, you have to be quick on your feet in action, but a lot of emotion wrapped up in those moments as well.
She did. She was an elderly lady. There was also an elderly person with her, passenger, and she was along for the whole ride. So that was probably, that lady turned out had just had a heart
surgery of sorts.
Something put in the week before, a pacemaker, and so she was probably in shock the whole time. But they were just elderly. They were 80+ years old, and they were sweet. And I just knew that, it was somebody's grandmother. I'm sure they weren't ready to lose her. So.
Oh, goodness. Again, well, we hail you truly so much. Had you ever seen anything like that? I mean, I imagine, are truck drivers trained to be kind of quick at any point? Or?
No, ma'am, not at all.
That was just natural instinct for you?
No, ma'am, but at that point it was instinct because I knew somebody needed help.
Yeah.
But they don't train us on anything like that. In fact, I think it would be a good idea to get some basic CPR or just any of that under your belt, I think, in my opinion.
Zach, you were so equipped to handle it as best you could in that time, and again, a highway hero you now are. Just as we wrap up here, I understand you kind of view in life almost a little bit differently, I'm sure, in some ways. Any kind of final words you just want to share on what's recently happened?
Yeah, my grandmother's been on hospice for the last few days, and she actually passed away this morning at 3:30 in the morning. Oh, so I do ask for prayers for the family, for everything we're about to go through. But she was the matriarch of our family, no doubt.
Oh, goodness, Zach, our utmost condolences. Are the words on the air are not doing it justice, but thank you for being here, and we are covering your family in prayer, and can only imagine what she's experiencing now this morning, and I know you know that, but we'll be thinking of you, especially going into Christmas time. Thank you for everything you've done, Zach.
Thank y'all, and thank everyone else involved.
Thank you. God bless you too. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting a live clapping from our director, Pat, over there.